small today. If anybody wants to spread out a little, you're more than welcome to. Just keep a path clear on that aisle is all we need. Everybody have blocks and a strap. Start seated, legs crossed, one in front of the other. It doesn't matter which one, but go ahead and check in with those knees. Let's make sure that there's no pulling, tugging, sensation. Just shift your focus right there briefly. And if anything's showing up, go ahead and grab those blocks, one under each knee. We'll go palms to the lap or hands to the lap, palms up. Automatically starts to open those shoulders. Gonna start to distance ourselves from the outside. From the pace of the day, we're going to slow down for the next hour. Little bit of self-care. But we're going to start by checking in with the body. You might close your eyes softly or a light gaze on something in front. I want you to start by scanning through all the little nooks and crannies, looking for those things that tend to build up during the day. Maybe it's tension in the neck or shoulders. Maybe it's that back thing. I'm going to turn that music off, so stand by. And we're not going to judge that pain that shows up. We're just going to be glad that we notice it right here so we can start to work on it. So leave that critical place at the door. Let's shift the focus right up to that head space. A lot of things going on during the day, work, kids, partners. So check in for any of that kind of stress or emotional stuff. Anxiety. Let's shift that focus to the breath. Noticing what it's like right now. Overdoers might have already started building that bigger breath. Go ahead and scale back even on something that you know is coming, something that you're predicting. Now let's start to grow that breath. Not going all in, but maybe gradually building. Especially those who hold their breath all day. Gradually building. It's like stretching the body, stretching the breath. As you grow the breath, let's go ahead and start to extend the spine a little bit taller. Give that tailbone a bit of a tuck if that arch is creeping up there. Notice what it's like to just sit straight up, straight spine, long neck, shoulders pulling down and away from those ears. Taking a few of those big breaths down the spine. We're going to take our right hand and we're going to place it on the outside of this left knee, if that's accessible. We're going to take the left hand, we're going to place it right behind that left hip. Let's keep that elbow soft, just outside of lock. Let's grip the mat with the fingers and palms, extend tall. And on an exhale, gently twisting toward the left. Find you start to lose that breath, go ahead and scale back. Any of that tension or pain you noticed is amplified, go ahead and scale back. Overdoers, go ahead and scale back. Last big breath here. And then we'll take that right hand off of that left knee. We'll go ahead and send it right behind that right hip. We'll go left hand right outside that left leg. Gripping with the fingers, extending tall, pulling the shoulders down, exhaling, twisting right. Remember, you're only twisting as far as you can maintain that strong, straight spine. Let's go 2 more big breaths right here. And then let's gently unwind right there. Both hands right back to that lap. Let's switch the cross in the legs. Check in, pulling, sensations, anything more than moderate. And you could also give yourself a little lift by sitting on the blocks, if that works better. But we're going to take the right hand this time. We're going to go just outside that right hip. We're going to inhale and extend the left fingertips toward the ceiling. Let's pull those fingertips out of the shoulder. Relax that right shoulder. And on an exhale, if there's space, you might start to walk those right fingertips away from the body. Don't find that maximum depth too quickly. Check in along the way. Want to have a nice long left side there. It's automatically going to straighten that right side. Think of those fingertips pulling directly out of that left hip. Last big breath here. Let's slowly walk those fingertips back up. Left hand outside of that left hip this time. Inhaling, right fingertips reaching for the sky. And on your exhale, maybe finding some space there. Breathing into that first point of resistance. collecting data. Not analyzing the data. And we'll go ahead and start to walk those left fingertips back up, bringing that right hand back down. Let's take them out front. Maybe fingertips here. We want the spine to be nice and straight. On an exhale, maybe finding that you can walk those hands forward. Might have that complicated side and front now. Some of you might be judging it. We're just wanting to return to the one that's easier. If this is the one that's a little more challenging as far as side to side goes, means your body needs it on this side a bit more. Pulling the crown of the head away from those sit bones. Inhale, assessing. Exhaling, exploring depth. Last big breath right here. Let's start to walk those hands back up. Let's send them behind. They're going to be a bit wide, about mat width. Mine are about 6 to 8 inches away from my body. Let's keep the elbows soft. Grip with the fingers and the palms. And on an exhale, sending that chest in the direction of the ceiling. Shoulders back. Go ahead and tuck that tailbone. Find that arch creeping in. Big breaths into that open chest. And let's go ahead and let's slowly walk those hands back up. Let's extend both legs out in front. Let's go a little point and flex with the toes. Get some movement in there. We're going to take our right foot and we're going to park it on the inside of this left knee to start. Everything's clear there. You can try crossing it over. We're going to go right hand behind once again to support ourselves really tall, pulling the shoulders down and away from the ears. Left hand outside that right knee. Exhaling, twisting right. Following with your gaze. Try to relax those shoulders. Last big breath on this side. And then we'll gently unwind. We'll go ahead and we'll send this right foot forward to meet the left. Let's go both hands behind. Fingers gripping, inhaling, supporting ourselves really tall, shoulders back. Exhaling, maybe finding a bit of a hinge here. It's hard to stay in this posture. If you find you're shaking or the body's locking up, go ahead and scale back. Last big breath here. And then we'll gently release. We're going to take that left foot. We're going to park it on the inside of the right knee this time. We'll check in there. All's good. We're going to cross it over. We'll go right hand outside that left knee, left hand behind, soft elbow, inhaling, extending tall. Exhaling, twisting to the left. Straight spine here. Your fingers are gripping the mat right now. You're strengthening those joints. And the wrists, the elbow, the shoulders. Last big breath here. And gently unwinding that left hand around. Uncrossing that left foot. Sending it out straight. Hands behind one more time. Fingers wide, gripping. Inhaling, extending tall, shoulders back. Exhaling, maybe hinging forward. Try to make that neck long. It's pulling directly out of those sit bones. Last big breath here. And then we'll gently release. We're going to start to transition to hands and knees. Not going to dance our way there. We're just going to get there any way that's comfortable for us. Just going to send my feet back, hands and knees. Once you're on hands and knees, let's do a little check here. Shoulders are stacked over soft elbows or stacked over wrists. Hips are squared right over the knees. Fingers are wide. We're gripping the mat. We're going to pull the crown of our head one direction and our sit bones the other. Breathing big right here. When you're ready, we're going to tuck the toes. We're going to send the hips in the direction of the ceiling. Chest is moving toward the front of the thighs. Back of the thighs are moving toward the wall behind. Heels are moving in the direction of the floor. Gaze is between your feet. You might pedal out a bit here. Maybe lift one foot, maybe lift the other foot. Keep those big breaths going. And when you're ready, let's go ahead and walk the feet toward the hands. And then we're going to roll up slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Get those shoulders a few rolls forward. Reverse. Resting at center. Hands are going to be down by the sides here. Let's pull the shoulders down. Fingers are reaching toward the floor. Feet are about hip width. Go ahead and pick those toes up. Get a little grip there. And if that's not enough, tuck that tailbone. Let's make that spine long, that neck long. Next exhale, we're going to send the crown of the head away from those right fingertips. So kind of the left ear in the direction of that left shoulder. You might pick those fingers up a bit. Check to see if you locked out those knees. Soften them back up. Next exhale, chin in the direction of that left collarbone. Gonna pause, breathe into any of the day's tensions. We're gonna inhale that head back up, right? We're gonna recommit, pulling those shoulders down and away from the ears, softening the knees, gripping with the toes. Exhaling, right ear toward that right shoulder. Maybe picking those fingertips up a bit from the body. Next, exhale, chin in the direction of that right collarbone. Maybe it's different on this side. Just noticing. A lot of times we don't notice where we carry our tension until everything's hurting. We're going to inhale that head back up, right? We're going to send the hands all the way up. Clasp the hands, palms in the direction of the ceiling. Some arms are going to be straighter than others. Just finding that depth where you can still breathe. Previous pain isn't amplified. Nothing's locking up in the body. Last big breath here. Let's release the hands. Let's send them behind the back. Clasp the hands. Tap the tailbone. Knuckles in the direction of the floor. Crown of the head pulling toward the ceiling. Primary movement here, shoulders back. Big breaths right here. Let's gently release it. Let's take the feet a little bit wider. I'm going to place mine right on the outsides of my mat to start. I might need to go closer. Legs are different lengths, might be different for all of us. Let's tuck the tailbone. Let's keep those knees soft. We'll go left hand to the outside of that left hip. Right hand extending toward the ceiling. Body's nice and long. Exhaling, leaning toward the left. Similar move to on the floor. Our legs were crossed. Some nice long angles there. No rounding or folding for more depth. Last big breath here. And then we'll unwind, bringing that right hand down to that right hip. Extending those left fingertips toward the sky, softening the knees, tucking the tailbone, exhaling, leaning to the right. Notice here if one or both of those knees locked up, go ahead and soften them. Send those big breaths right into that space. And let's inhale, bringing that left hand back around. Let's go hands to the front of the thighs here. Toes are pointed forward. We're going to inhale, extending tall, shoulders down and away from the ears. And we're going to exhale, hinging forward. the sit bones toward the wall behind, pulling the crown of the head toward the wall in front. You can apply a little pressure to those legs to get a little bit more stretch there. If you find you can reach the floor or the block, you might grab that block, walking it forward. Just a couple more big breaths right here. And then inhaling that strong torso. Back up. Heel toeing the feet. Just so they're back about hip width distance. Check in with that stance, toes are gripping. Check in with that tailbone. Let's go arms wide, palms facing forward. Check to see what happened with that tailbone and those knees. On an exhale, we're going to start to bring those hands forward. We're going to stack the right elbow over the left elbow, and we're going to wind the arms. Maybe thumbs, fingers, or palms. We're going to inhale, elbows up and out. And we're going to exhale, elbows are moving toward the body. Forearms are moving in the direction of the floor. Chin might find a little space in that groove. You have particularly tight shoulders, you might use a strap for that one. Just send some of those big breaths right to those shoulder blades. Relax those shoulders too. Let's inhale, bringing those elbows back up. Unwinding the arms. We're going to send the hands out wide this time. And we're going to send our fingers toward the wall behind, countering that stretch, opening up that chest again. When you're ready, let's start to bring those arms forward again. This time we're going to stack the left elbow over the right. We're going to wind thumbs, fingers, or palms, or strap. We're going to inhale up and out. Exhale, elbows toward the body, forearms toward the floor. Chin in that little groove. And big breaths. I want you to check in right now with that lower and middle back. Make sure that there's not any rounding going on there. I want all the stretch to be in the upper back. Soften those knees, relax that jaw. Just a couple more on this side. And then let's slowly unwind. Sending the arms out wide one more time. Fingers pulling away from one another. Fingers toward the wall behind, just countering. Last big breath here. And then we'll gently release. We're going to take the right arm and we're going to start to draw big circles. So going up, back, and around. Slow moving here. Feeling that extension in all parts of the circle. Clicking, popping, or grinding. Go ahead and make that circle smaller. Last one here. We'll go ahead and we'll reverse those circles. Same rules apply. Grip with those toes. Probably reminds you to follow all those other verbal instructions. Last one on this side. And then pausing right there, that hand by the body, reaching toward the floor with those fingers. Start to draw those big circles with the left side. Not autopiloting. Moving slow. Remember, you're looking to collect data. What can I learn right here? Pause at any areas of tension you find. Send a good big breath or two there. We'll reverse the direction of that circle. Just a couple more. Keep those breaths going. Focusing on the circle. You might lose that breath. And then arms down by the sides, fingers actively reaching toward the floor, shoulders are down. Let's start to draw those small circles on the ceiling with the crown of our head. Look for that extension in every part of the circle. Continue to pull those fingers down. Just remember, we're not looking for a big neck roll. We're looking for the extension in the circle. Clicking, popping, grinding, that's bone on bone. Let's reverse the direction. We're looking to create space rather than collapse the bones. So just make that circle smaller. If you hear or feel that crunching. And stopping right there at center. Let's balance. And let's start by, you can be on the carpet, the floor, the mat, whatever you prefer. So let's start. Feet are about hip width, tailbones tucked, shoulders are down. We're going to take that right foot and we're going to park that right heel against that left ankle. Just going to hang out there for a minute. It's awkward. See what's going on with that tailbone. Pretend there's an imaginary wall behind you that you're trying to square up against here. Grip with those left toes. We're going to keep that left hip straight. And when you're ready, we're going to start to pick up that left foot, placing it, placing it somewhere on that left calf, or even lower. Might just be picking the foot up. Ignore me when I come out. It's challenging to balance in and construct. You want to find that place that's wobbly. It's just outside the comfort zone. If you don't feel wobbly here, consider picking up that foot a bit higher. You can bring those hands up, palms together. Straighten up that left hip. I know it's collapsing. You want more depth. Last big breath here. Bringing that foot down. Bringing those hands to the center of the chest. And then back down. Shake that one off. That's a hard one. Brand new side, brand new body. Expect it, the one expectation to have here, expect it to be different. We're going to take that left heel, we're going to park it against this right ankle. We're going to grip with the right toes here, trying to square up on that imaginary wall. Going to have to avoid that perfectionism. When you're ready, starting to pick that left foot up. Let's go ahead and straighten that right hip out. Look for that place that's wobbly. Keep that right knee soft. Maybe taking your hands up here. Breath is going to be the first to go on these balancing postures. So bring the breath back and straighten that right hip again. And when you're ready, let's bring that left foot down. Palms together, coming toward the center of the chest. And then back down by the sides. Maybe giving those hips a good shake there. Let's take the palms, fingertips to the lower portion of the neck. Big inhale, and on the exhale, chest toward the ceiling. Elbows and shoulders are moving back here. Knees are soft. Watch for that arch in the back to creep up here. Makes it easier. Last big breath right here. Let's release the hands. Let's take the heels of the palms to the lower back. Exhaling, chest toward the ceiling again. Shoulders back. Tailbone tucked. Last big breath here. And then let's gently release. Feet should still be about hip width here. Let's take the hands to the front of the thighs. Let's inhale, extending tall, pulling the shoulders down. Exhaling, hinging forward. Pulling those sit bones back. Pulling the crown of the head forward, looking for that tabletop-like spine here. Send those good breaths between all those vertebrae. Let's inhale that strong spine back upright. Let's take the right foot. We're going to cross it around the left so that the outsides of the feet are close, maybe touching. Notice how that shifts everything. Tuck that tailbone. Grip with the toes, and once you have stability, inhaling, hands to the front of the thighs. Exhaling, finding that hinge forward again here. Might not have the same depth, so look for that depth. It's just outside of easy, but not overwhelming. Let's inhale that strong spine back up. Once we're supported there, bringing that right foot back around. Let's cross that left foot around. Tuck the tailbone. Find that stability first here in the awkward stance, tucking the tailbone, hands to the front of the thighs. Exhaling, hinging forward on this side. Overdoers, go ahead and stop. Stop shy of that, of the body's boundary. That way you can find it. You can find things you weren't looking for. Last big breath right here. And then we're going to bring that strong spine back up. Once we have stability there, you can uncross that left foot. Feet are about hip width. We're going to go into just a dead hang here. So you might start with the hands to the thighs when you're exhaling, and then just into a hang. Try to make that torso heavy. You might grab elbows in a gentle sway side to side. Maybe shifting the weight, toes and heels. And let's go hands to the legs. Let's find that supported extension again. And when you're ready, we're going to bend the knees. We're going to take both hands to the mat, fingers wide, gripping. We're going to walk the feet back. Hips in the direction of the ceiling. Chest toward the front of the thighs. Back of the thighs toward the wall behind. Gaze between your feet. Maybe pedal out. Notice what's different about this down dog. And when you're ready, let's shift that weight forward so you're coming on, supported by the hands and the strength of the arms. Need a little strength here. First, you can drive those heels back. Pull the crown of the head forward. And on an exhale, you might start to bend those arms, bringing the chest down to the floor and the tummy down to the floor softly. Let's go to forearms here. Nailed it. You're among friends. Let's press down on the mat with the palms and the fingers. It's going to be good for the back here. So forearms are touching, hands are touching. We're going to use the strength of those hands and forearms to press down. We're going to pull the crown of the head forward. Toes are in the opposite direction. Pull those shoulders back. Last big breath here. And then let's go right down onto the belly. Let's place one cheek down. Just relax the body here. Let's place the other cheek on the mat. Last big breath here. Then we're just going to simply pick up our head and we're going to start to transition onto our backs. So any way you want to roll to your back here. Soles of the feet to the mat. There, we're going to scoot our heels as close to our hips as we can here. Arms are down by the sides, palms are on the mat. And on an exhale, you might use the strength from those legs and feet to press down on the mat, gently picking those hips up. Keep breathing big here. Let's see if we can lift our right foot, pointing the toes toward the ceiling. Let's bring that right foot down if it's extended. Let's see if we can pick up that left leg and point those left toes toward the ceiling. Let's put that left foot down if it's still extended. And then let's slowly bring our backs to the ground, hips and heels. We're going to keep the soles of the feet on the mat here. We're going to take our right foot, we're going to cross it over that left knee. Call this a figure 4 here. This stretch might be enough for some. Need a little more, you can use a block under that left foot. Or you can take the right hand, thread it between and behind the left leg, reaching around with that left hand. Relaxing that left leg. You want the legs to be dead weight right here. Use the strength of your arms to hold them up if you've got them up. Need a little more, you can take the hands around the front of that left shin. Relax that jaw. Relax that right hip. Relax that critic. Just send big breaths. Last big breath here. And then we're slowly going to bring that left foot down to the mat. We'll uncross that right we go into that other side, let's go soles of the feet together right here. Allow the knees to fall out to the sides. Let's take the arms wide into a T with the palms facing up. Relax those hips. Relax that rib cage. Just notice any differences side to side here. Let's take the soles of the feet back to the mat. Brand new side. This time we're going to take that left ankle, cross it over that right knee. Check in right here. Is that enough? Maybe a block under that right foot. Or maybe left hand threading behind, right hand coming around to meet it. Grabbing onto the back of that right thigh. Lower back meet floor. Maybe you take those hands around the front of that shin. If that's your depth today. Relax the hips, relax the feet. Use that arm strength here. Brain's going to wander right now. Probably knows we're going to move right into our final posture. So just keep the focus on what you're feeling here now. What's going on with the breath? Where's that stress level? Last big breath here. And let's slowly bring that right foot back down if you have it lifted. Crossing that left foot. Let's walk the feet out. And let's allow the feet to just fall out to the sides any way they want to fall. Arms may be at the sides with the palms up. The intention here is to make yourself as heavy as you can. Supported by the ground. Body's different from where you started. The headspace is different than where you started. Maybe the breath too. So let's go ahead and check in. Anything going on now? What's showing up in the body when you scan the feet through the head? You feel a little more focused. Maybe a lot of that stress from the day is kind of stepped away a little bit of distance. To see how that breath might be different here too. Just allow it to do what it wants. wants to do now, without controlling it. You're eventually, at your pace, going to bring some intentionally soft and slower movement back. And be transitioning from this space to another. Maybe with a little presence for family, for friends. Maybe starting with fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Maybe a rock of the knees side to side or the head. And any final postures your body might need.